Time magazine has just come out with this breaking article that has scientists baffled, biologists reconsidering their careers, and even has conspiracy theorists wondering how they missed this one. Headlines read, his pregnancy came as a shock. Well, I think that's the understatement of the century. Subtract all the flossy-nosy and the hillipilification as being crazy talk. It actually happened. It has to be true. This is Time magazine, a global media brand with an audience of over 100 million people worldwide. It's considered one of the most authoritative and informative guides to current events in politics, business, health, and science and entertainment, and they have just announced that a man got pregnant. Oh, Mom. I think my mom just fainted. Be right back. Okay, calm down. There's got to be some sort of explanation. I wonder how many men are going to start practicing celibacy after this one. How did this happen? I mean, I've heard people hitting the lottery, 1.5 billion chance, or even surviving a skydive without a parachute and living, but how did this freaking happen? You think this pregnancy came as a shock? OMG, you think? I'm wondering if the rapture is going to be like, now. I mean, this isn't true, is it? This is impossible in the field of science, biology, and every medical practice in the world rebutted this even as an impossibility. Even God must be shocked. Like, did he make a mistake in his book? Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Grab a drink, or anything right now. If you can drink anything right now. Jasper never considered he might be pregnant despite the nausea, the stomach pain, the fatigue. The possibility never crossed his mind. Never should cross anyone's mind. Last thing any sane man or person would think would be, hey, I'm pregnant. Now that I think about it, abdominal bloating and distension has occurred in my stomach. Jasper, what's happening to me? He was about 6 months into testosterone therapy, a form of gender-affirming care. Wait a minute. Gender-affirming? I mean, I think pregnancy in itself is enough affirmation. It's a chick. It's okay, Ma. You can get up. I'm pretty sure it's a misprint. It had taken ages to get his father and stepmother on board, though 18 years old at the time. Jasper lived with and relied on them for support. But looking in the rearview mirror, he knew treatment was one of the best things he'd ever done for himself. Feeling the peach fuzz grow on his face, hearing his voice deepen, noticing as his jawline shifted and his eyebrows darkened, it was the first time in his life that Jasper felt truly at home in his body. I mean, if she thinks that peach fuzz makes you a man, well, talk to my grandma about that. And I don't think Jasper was the only one in her body, but a baby Jasper made themselves pretty secure in it too. How secure would a baby really be in a mom with? Well, I'll be nice. Ever since puberty, he had never had regular periods. Their absence didn't even register. You're a female, and you're used to having periods. However, all of a sudden they stop. You think just because you're pretending you're a dude that your biology is gonna go along with that? It's crazy, unheard of, and yet here we are getting articles from a major news outlet that this is normal these days. Then the nausea began, followed by mysterious new stomach pains. After enduring an additional month of discomfort, he scheduled another doctor's visit. Maybe, they told him, he had an autoimmune condition, perhaps it was rheumatoid arthritis, which ran in his family. But the stomach pains posed a mystery. Really? I mean, let's all pretend that this is really a dude. Can't you see how crazy this is? But let's not hurt anyone's feelings with reality, right? They referred him for an ultrasound. In August, Jasper scheduled the appointment, choosing a Saturday so he wouldn't need to take time off work. How many of us out there ever thought that we would be reading an article like this, where it says, no, seriously, where it seriously wants to instill us and act like the readers are agreeing with he is having an ultrasound, where a dude is getting an ultrasound? Come on, man. He was lying on the table when the clinician broke the news. Well, she said, of course you know you're pregnant, right? Jasper sat up. You are joking. And there it is, Jasper. You have to know this. You can't be in such denial that a clinician is coming to you and telling you, you know you're pregnant, right? You know you're a female, don't you? Are you blind? And you know what? I'm not shocked at this person's mental capacity of denial, even though, to me, it does seem like treatment would be necessary, and they have special mental facilities that deal with this type of insanity. So, okay, I'm a little concerned for them as a human and what kind of life they're going to lead with that sort of problem, but people have issues. I get it. But what I'm more shocked about, what concerns me most in all of this, is that Time magazine and all the publishers, editors, and those who sign off on the stories let this go out there to their customers as being acceptable as part of society, because that's the short part of the article. The rest of the article is how hard of a time this him, I'm not gonna say that because she's clearly a woman. But the main part of the story was to promote abortion. Yeah, and how this girl had such a hard time getting her baby terminated in Florida. I'm going to read to you, I gotta read it to you. I'm gonna read you this real fast, just to let you know what's going on, to get the bigger picture and all this that we're reading. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's read into this real quick just so I can give you the big picture of what they were really pushing here, which wasn't, I mean, the headline clickbait the attention of the world, right? The telltale symptoms he struggled to a place were actually something so simple. Still, Jasper couldn't believe it. She showed him the screen. I'm surprised nobody told you, she said, because you're so far along. From the clinician's review, reading the ultrasound, it looked like Jasper was about 12 weeks pregnant already through her, I'm going to say her because it says his here. I'm going to say her first trimester. She heard about the Roe v. Wade being recently overturned, but had yet learned what it meant in her home state. That as of July 22nd, while abortion would still be legal, the state would begin enforcing the law prohibited the procedure for anyone past 15 weeks of pregnancy. When the nurse told her, it sank in how little time she had. If Jasper wanted an abortion, she had 3 weeks to make up her mind, raise the money, and schedule not 1 but 2 appointments. That spring, the state courts had upheld the law mandating anyone seeking an abortion need to make 2 visits to the clinic. The first one for counseling, and the second, at least 24 hours later, for the procedure itself. She had no idea how long she might have to wait to be seen by a doctor. All she knew is she had to move quickly. Jasper left the clinic, called her boyfriend from the car. Phone kept ringing, finally going to voicemail. Jasper called back. It went to voicemail yet again. Sobbing, she dialed. It took her 5 or 6 tries before someone answered. She told the woman on the phone she had just found out she was 12 weeks pregnant. Jasper had always figured out she'd want an abortion if she were going to get pregnant. But facing the decision, she was no longer sure what to do. She needed to know her options, how quickly they could see her. Now they go into this is the rest of the article. All of the rest of it. Mind you, the first part of this article here was just 1, 2, 3, 2.5 paragraphs. The first part I read to you, 2.5 at most paragraphs. Then the rest of this, Roe v. Wade, they made the decision on Roe v. Wade. Florida does the 15-week thing, anyone past 20 weeks. And it goes all the way down, and all of this is about anti-abortion. Now they get back down to Jasper. Jasper had finally gotten through. Someone who could schedule an abortion consultation. Her window, I'm gonna have to say his because I can't read it fast enough to say her. His window to decide was rapidly closing, but there weren't any openings for weeks. Things had to be hectic all summer with patients from all over the South flocking to Orlando Clinic. By the time they could find an opening for Jasper's appointment, the consultation, not procedure itself, would be after the 15-week deadline. Jasper didn't want to tell his family. He'd begun rebuilding his relationship with them, but things felt fragile. His stepmother, Catholic, deeply opposed abortion. If Jasper had to leave Florida, his boyfriend and his family had to leave Las Vegas where he was legal up to 24 weeks. They'd had a place to stay and an excuse for leaving. Running the numbers mentally, he could probably find a round-trip ticket for $200. Wait! The woman on the phone broke through his thoughts. We just had a cancellation. It was in 4 days Jasper would get an ultrasound, go through his state-mandated counseling, and decide what he wanted to do about the pregnancy. Without thinking, he took it. Still crying, Jasper tried calling her boyfriend again. This time, he was able to deliver the news. The thought flickered through his mind. If he had been born cis, he never would have had to worry about the pregnancy or abortion. What? If you're born what you are, you're a woman, you're a girl, you're gonna have to worry about abortion. Just saying. This was yet another way his body didn't fully feel like his own. And in another way, it felt like Florida, which had also recently passed a law outlawing gender-affirming care for people younger than 18, was attempting to deny him physical autonomy. In 4 days, he knew he'd be confronted with a decision about whether he wanted to end his pregnancy or if she could envision life as a parent. She hardly felt prepared. Then they go back into the anti-abortion laws and the things are really trying to click you on here. They're really trying to get you get those readers that would actually read this as being normal. This is the narrative. This is the narrative. They get you there, then this is the narrative. It always is. It always has been for the Democrats, and it always will be. Okay, now we go back down to Jasper because most all the rest of it, it's abortion laws and stuff, which look pretty dang lenient to me. If you want an abortion, you can get one. It's not far-fetched to get an abortion. It's just not as hard as they're trying to make it look like here. Even before the 6-week ban was cut off, when the procedure was at 15, Jasper still had little time to decide what to do. At his consultation, Jasper learned that his pregnancy was not 12 weeks, as he had been told, but closer to 14. The clinic was still quiet, so I still give you 7 days. The clinic was still quiet when Jasper arrived for his abortion, but filled with the patients, of course, of the morning. Some looked like they were there for birth control. Others deduced a similar situation. One girl clutched her picture of an ultrasound, seeing fear and confusion on her face. It was like looking in the mirror. The abortion was simple. He received a mild sedative, medication, opened up the cervix, and guys don't have cervix, and straightforward surgery to remove the fetus. It was a safe, easy procedure and immensely painful. And then it was over. Jasper's boyfriend had picked up pho from a restaurant they both loved, and the two watched TV in bed all evening. Over 7 days, Jasper had learned he was pregnant, processed the news, scheduled an abortion, and after 2 visits to a clinic, terminated his pregnancy. He didn't regret it, but the feeling stayed with him, a nagging voice asking, what if? What if he had been able to give birth? He had been able to give birth. If he would have been able to give birth, that headline would have been explosive. Like, don't put headlines out there like this if it's not really a dude, if it's just a chick with a short haircut feeling like a guy. It's still a chick. What if she had been able to give birth, put up a child for adoption, could have become a parent, young as she was? He'd never had a chance to consider. Oh, he considered. She considered her whole life. She said in the article, I knew I would get an abortion if I was pregnant. That means you know you're a girl, first of all, and you're denying it. And the last sentence here is, he wished he had more time, but that was a luxury no one could afford. Where am I? Man, this is just crazy. Let me know what you think down below. Peace out. We'll see you on the next one. Stay blessed. One love.